This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt stuck, whether it's a major life transition, a dark night of the soul, or just staying small out of fear. If you've ever struggled to move forward, if you're repeating unhealthy patterns in relationships, or you have a black belt in beating yourself up, you were meant for more, and this podcast is for you. We'll get real, we'll get vulnerable, we'll probably cuss a little bit, and we'll get to the root of it all, your self-worth. With every step, you'll find the courage to rise.
Welcome to the last episode of the Courage to Rise podcast for 2019. The new year often becomes a time of reflection and a time to look forward into what we want to bring into our lives. And sometimes the way that we do that historically hasn't been wildly effective. And so today I want to talk a little bit about how to create more effective goals or resolutions, if you still like to say resolutions, and also give you an opportunity to look back at the year that's come and the things that we have experienced and the things that you've grown through, because so often we get caught up in the day-to-day, and especially if we're going through any kind of healing or transition in our lives that we've come through, to really take time to stop and reflect back on how much growth you've really had over the last year. It's so easy for us only to look for, remember, our brains have a negativity bias, so when left unchecked, they're only going to find the bad stuff or the limiting beliefs. And it's so easy for us to forget all the growth that we've experienced in the last year. And so the new year is a good time to pause and reflect back on this. And I want to say here that by no means do you have to wait, nor really should you wait until the new year to do this. You can do this at any point in time, and I recommend that you do this periodically throughout the year. But if nothing else, it's a good time as we turn the calendar over into January of the next calendar year to reflect back on how far you've come, the things you've done, where you've grown, and then look forward at where you want to grow in the year to come and the things that you want to do. And when it comes to setting resolutions or setting goals, and I know I was guilty of this when I was younger, is I had this false notion in my head, and it wasn't even necessarily a conscious one, that I would go from being who I had been on December 31st to magically waking up on January 1st and being a completely different version of myself. And the flaw in that logic is that transformation doesn't happen overnight. And when we're holding this unconscious belief that it's going to happen overnight, or that it's even going to happen within a week, we set ourselves up for failure because we have these expectations that we're going to be, here's the word again, perfect at our resolutions, perfect at the goals that we set out for ourselves. And then we get discouraged when within the first week or two, we've either fallen off the wagon a little bit, haven't held up to the standard that we set for ourselves, usually because it's not a realistic standard. And then we reinforce an old story that things are never successful for us, that we can never lose weight, save money, whatever the story is, that we get thrown back into that cycle. And this happens so often. And what we want to do is we want to break that pattern by bringing conscious awareness to how you are setting your resolutions, how you're setting these intentions for the year. Because if you have an intention to get healthy, and first of all, we want to define what healthy means for you, right? Because it's not just about a weight loss. It's not just about a number on a scale. But if you have a goal or intention around your body, around fitness, around how you want to feel, that's exactly what it's about. It's how you want to feel in your body. It's the intention behind how you set it. And so let's look at what's an effective way to set a resolution around your health, for example, because that's a big one, right? Most people have a goal around, this is why you see gyms packed for the first 2 weeks of the new year. And then we'll talk about why they fall off afterwards. But if you have a goal around getting healthy, the disempowering way of setting this goal and of approaching this goal, which I see a lot of people do, is more of a punitive approach of I was so bad during the holidays and I have to lose 15 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever the number is, right? And inherently going into that, you're setting yourself up for failure, because the energetic behind that is one of negativity. It's one of disempowerment. It's one of pain, frankly, because it's coming from a place of I'm punishing myself. I'm punishing myself. I ate poorly. And this is one paradigm that I'll challenge you to shift. If you're guilty, like most of us are, of ever saying, I feel fat, or I look fat, or anything related to that, I want you to shift that to, I feel uncomfortable in my body right now. Because isn't that actually what's true? Is that it's about how you feel in your body. The weight, the number on the scale is really not it's really not important. It's about how you feel in your body and how you can go about your daily activities, and if you're able to do that in a way that feels really good for you. And so when you think about that resolution that you're making for the new year around how you want your health or your body or your fitness level to be, let's shift that to how you want to feel in your body. Let's shift that to, I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. I want to feel energetic. I want to have more energy. I want to feel like I can get out and play with my kids, or whatever it is that's really a driving force for you. And then start to shift the narrative around this idea of, I really, really hate the word diet, because it has gotten such a negative connotation around restriction and deprivation. And really what you're looking at is you're looking at a lifestyle. You're looking at creating a healthy lifestyle, not a short-term. Certainly there's a time and a place if you have to do, let's say, an elimination diet where it's legitimately, there's an end goal to it, right? You're trying to see if something is causing inflammation for you. That's kind of a different story. But I'm talking about very restrictive diets that, have come and gone over the years, the grapefruit diet or the whatever, right? Pick your fad of the week. And really what it's about is it's about creating a healthy lifestyle, because your life becomes the sum of your daily choices. And so what you're looking at when you look forward into the new year, when you look forward into setting this goal around your health, is first start with, how do I want to feel in my body? I want to feel energized. I want to feel good in my clothes. It's not about what the tag says, what size the tag says. It's about how you feel in your body, how you feel in your clothes. And then you want to look at, what's my relationship with food, and that idea of diet and restriction. How about we shift that to say, instead of food being associated with punishment and negativity and all the other emotional charge that's associated with it, how about instead we say, food is fuel and medicine for my body? Because think about it, it really is, right? We have this one body that we go through this incarnation on the earth in. So let's feed it and fuel it with good nutrient-dense food so that it can carry us through the life that we want to be living, so that you can play with your kids or your grandkids well into, your aging years. So you start to shift that narrative. And then the other thing is, when it comes to fitness and working out and moving your body, how often do we get caught up in this thing of, oh, I ate so bad yesterday, so I have to do extra work at the gym today. And it becomes a punishing, right? It becomes punitive. And when we go back to what we've said, and it was on my second podcast that I talked about human motivation around pain and pleasure, there's a lot of pain that's associated with that, right? And it becomes really disempowering, because what you're doing on a fundamental level is beating yourself up. You're continuing to beat yourself up. So let's break that narrative too, and let's shift it to be, yeah, I enjoyed some food yesterday at the holiday. I certainly did over Christmas. I had my fair share of Christmas cookies, and I'm unapologetic about that. And just shift the narrative. And so, okay, today I'm going to go back to eating really healthy, nutrient-dense foods. And when it comes to the gym, I'm going to move my body because I love how it feels to move my body. And how about your goal becomes that you're going to move your body every day in some way, whether it's yoga, whether it's walking. Walking in and of itself is an excellent way and a very healthy way to get exercise. And I realize it's wintertime, most places here in the Western Hemisphere, but anything that you're doing to move your body, when you start to make fitness something that's not punitive, connect it to what it's going to allow you to do in your life, and connect it to how you're going to be able to feel on a regular basis. So when you go to set this resolution or this goal for the new year, if what you have is, I'm going to lose 15 pounds, let's break that down and let's shift that instead to, how do you want to feel in your body? I want to feel energized when I wake up in the morning. I want to feel, I don't want to feel like I have to rely on drinking coffee all day long. Or, I want to start adding in more healthy foods, whatever it is. Connect to how you want to feel in your body. And then let's expand it out even further, because remember, our life is the sum of our daily choices. How do you want to feel in 10 years? Let's flash forward from where you are today. It's not about the weight on the scale. It's how you want to feel and the things you want to be able to do down the line. If you start to make it a habit to work out or to move your body every day, that means 10 years from now, you're going to be in a much healthier place. You're going to be able to travel the way you want to travel or do the things that you want to do. Break down what that healthy lifestyle really means for you. And when you have that vision, it makes it so much easier on a daily basis to make those decisions that are going to get you closer to that. Because it's otherwise, usually what happens is we have this very short-term, myopic approach to it. And again, when it's coming from a punitive place, if I have to lash myself until I lose these 15 pounds, you set yourself up for failure. And it's you don't go from, let's say you have a pretty sedentary lifestyle, you don't go from that one day to the next day going to the gym 2 times a day and doing really aggressive workouts. You can, but it's not going to be sustainable. You're going to burn out, you're going to get injured, and then it's going to keep you from achieving the goal that you wanted to achieve, right? From having what you wanted to have. So see it as a lifestyle. See it as a lifestyle choice that you're making when you go into the new year and setting these resolutions and these goals for yourself. The other thing to look out for is give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. You set a resolution, there's a new habit or something that you're conditioning in your life. If you have a day where, let's say, you don't make it to the gym, sticking with this example of health, or you don't eat as well as you wanted to, maybe you dive face first into a bag of Cheetos instead of, the plate of whole foods that you had planned for yourself. Don't let that throw you off track. That was just one thing that happened, because that's something that can derail people so easily as well, because we turn it into a shame spiral, which we've talked about before. We turn it into a shame spiral, and then we create all these stories about how we'll never get healthy. We always do this. We're so bad. It becomes an opportunity to beat ourselves up, and then we're not making any progress. So drawing on the things that we've already talked about in previous podcasts, if you have a goal you're working toward, and you have a day where, maybe you fall off track or you do something that's not in alignment with the goal or intention that you set. Okay, it happened. It was one thing that happened. Don't let it poison everything else that you've done or the work that you've done. It's just a mistake. You just tripped. No big deal. You're human. It happens. Pick yourself up and make the next right choice. Because otherwise what happens is, we maybe you face plan into the Cheetos, and then it's, I've already been bad today, so I'm going to go ahead and eat, whatever else, the whole jar of cookies, right? And that's how we end up spinning off track. So just let it be okay. Okay, so you had a bag of Cheetos. It's not the end of the world, right? Just let it be what it is and make the next healthy choice that's in alignment with the goals that you've set. And even though the new year is such a beautiful opportunity to reflect back and to set our intentions for the year ahead of us, don't wait until the new year. You don't have to wait until some magical time when the calendar turns over. You don't have to wait for the next month or the next date or wait until. Start today, right? I realize I'm saying this on December 31st, but I'm saying this as a blanket statement moving forward as we go into the new year, because this is where I see people get off track. And I used to do this myself. I speak from experience on all of these things. And it's like you're waiting for this magic time or this magic day to start. Start today. Whatever it is that you're trying to incorporate in your life, again, sticking with this health example, start today. So you walk for 20 minutes today. You don't wait for some magic date, right? Get out and start today. And if, let's say it's February and you've fallen away from the intentions that you set for the year, okay, no problem. Regroup, revisit them. Start today. Make the next right choice and start today. This is how you create and build the life that you want to be living. It's on a daily basis. It's the choices that you make on a daily basis. It's relieving any of the shame and self-abuse that comes with if you feel like you slip off track a little bit. No problem. Just get up and get back. So here's an analogy. Let's say you're a little kid, right? And you're learning to ride a bike and you fall off. Do you stay, you just don't get back up again? You don't learn to ride? Or you're a baby learning to walk and you stand up and you fall down again. Do you stay down? You just give up? No, you get back up again. This is what it's about. Set the intentions for yourself. Use this time around the new year to think about and really feel into how you want to feel in your life. How do you want to feel in your finances? How do you want to feel in your body? How do you want to feel in your relationships? And start to really connect with what you want in those areas, and then start to take the steps every day to bring more of that in and free yourself from any kind of timeline or any kind of self-abuse around if you fall off the proverbial wagon on something. Because that's going to help you create and stay with these resolutions and these intentions that you've set. So to sum up, set your intention around what you want when it comes to your health and fitness and how you want to feel in your body. Then connect to why that's really important to you and make it beyond how, that I break that narrative around I feel fat. Stop saying that. Say, I feel uncomfortable in my body right now. And so then your goal is to feel more comfortable, to feel better in your body. Why? Because, it gives me more confidence and I feel, more able to, show up in the world that way. And then connect it out to how do I want to feel in 5 years and 10 years? I want to be able to play with my kids or my grandkids, or I want to take trips, or I want to do whatever. Connect it out to what that really means for you. And then on a daily basis, take steps to get there. Set the intention that you're going to move your body every day in some way. And maybe that means that you do weight training 3 to 4 days a week. Maybe that means that you go to yoga or Pilates. Find something that's fun where you're moving your body every day. And then think about on the food front. Food is fuel and medicine. Shift the association with food that it becomes fuel and medicine for your body, as opposed to a way to reward ourselves when we're feeling sad or empty or whatever, that, we've all been there too. So when you set yourself up like that, and then you don't beat yourself up if you have a time where, you deviate a little bit to the side, it's okay. Just get back on track. No judgment and no shame. I wish you all a healthy and happy new year, and I look forward to connecting again in 2020.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Courage to Rise podcast. Visit my website, couragetorise.com, for more information on one-on-one coaching, group coaching programs, and other upcoming events. Remember, life's too short not to sparkle. Sparkle on.